What's up, guys? Welcome to the Resellers Podcast with Tech and Sports and Daily Refinement. Today, we want to talk about something that will solve most resellers' problems, but it's not something a lot of resellers think about, which is just doubling the size of your store. And also, you have to maintain the sales that you have in your current store. So you have to maintain the quality as you grow. So easier said than done, but doubling the size of your store would cure all these little things that people worry about instead.
Yeah, I say it all the time. Sales cure a lot of issues that come up. You could absorb the cost, you can absorb defects, you can absorb anything that comes your way with the business if you focus on getting more sales. More sales equals more money. More money can solve a lot of problems. And that's something that you talked about a little bit earlier today on the morning call. You said that you restarted your store because you wanted to reboot, new inventory system, correct photography, correct listing format, quality listing, quality price. You've decided to reboot your entire store, and you're in this reboot are averaging above 1% a day sell through.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can average 1% a day sell through and maintain or decrease the defects, that's when you can truly start running and you can start rocking. So, you know, do you think you can truly get back to 30,000 items, 1% sell through at the rate that you're going if you continue to source the same kind of items um, and continue to list those quality listings? The only thing that's going to stop you is if you start cannibalizing your own category in sales.
If I can learn how to use the coupon to get people to come back so I can get repeat customers,
Mm.
then I will be able to maintain that. If you don't have the ability to, because eBay is only going to give you X amount of traffic. So if you
Right.
want to grow, you have to get your own traffic. You need people to come back to your store. If you can do that, then yes, you can maintain as you grow. And also, I need to make sure that I really understand the shipping, because I'm not sure that like, because the way you run your combined shipping, I think you charge more for more items. I don't. So I need to really
Yep.
look and see, because there's a couple of things that, one, I need repeat buyers. Second, I need a few more business to business buyers.
Yeah.
You also have that, and I'm starting to get those, but I need to understand how that works, because if you do any kind of volume, there's room for other people to eat too.
Absolutely. So I know you try to automate a lot of things and you have it set up in your business policies to automatically combine the shipping. Are you totally against sending out invoices the following morning? And that way you can recapture some of that shipping, because not only can you charge exact, you can kind of pad a couple dollars on every single transaction, because the customer doesn't know how much it costs you, because we have the deal with eBay, Pitney Bowes. They might know the counter price. And if we could sit somewhere between the counter price and what the label actually costs, you
Yeah.
can pad a couple dollars per transaction. And I think that if you are aiming to get repeat buyers, I think you have to manually send out those invoices to be able to capture some of that.
I think that's how it does take more work, but you have a higher margin. So I think you have room to spend the time to send out the invoice. And also, I think then you really have a bit, there are business to business customers expect a discount. You can't send somebody
Absolutely.
20 items and pay, they don't want to pay
Absolutely.
the same price as everyone else.
Absolutely. And also, the customer that orders two shirts also expects a discount.
Yeah.
So for me, if it's first class, I charge $4.95. That's $9.90. I do $8.90. So I give them $1. That's pretty much the most you can give. If it's a good customer, I
Mm-hmm.
charge them $7.90. And maybe I lose a
Mm.
dollar on shipping, but I did gain those two purchases. If it's three or four items, that's where I make some money, because I'll go over $10 and I can cram a lot of stuff in a padded flat rate. And for that, if you do that a couple times per day, tens of times per week, like that does, start adding up at the end of the year. So, you know, doubling your store, there's a difference between doubling your store and actually having a game plan. So you could double a VCR store, tennis racket, video game, blender, t-shirt, sombrero store. You're
Mm-hmm.
not going to get repeat shoppers. But the way how you're doing it, the way how I've done it, I continue to grow my store of the same brands that I already buy every single day and
Mm-hmm.
sell every single day. So when you're the everything store and someone buys a sombrero, and when they look at your store and you have VCRs and you have DVD combos, the customer who bought the sombrero is not necessarily a VCR customer. So for your customers, you sell women's clothing, you're trying to concentrate on plus size.
Yep.
That's a beautiful place to be for the repeat shopper. So you said you wanted to learn coupons and kind of like figure out how those work. Are you implementing any of that thus far, or still continuing this reboot?
I have a 30% coupon that I send to existing buyers. They
Mm-hmm.
can come straight into the store and buy for 30% off. And I think that is building up a little bit of repeat traction, especially since my items are really similar. Also,
Mm-hmm.
since I really only sell 6 different kinds of clothing, it's easy to buy 2 pairs of pants, 2 tops. And
Right.
also when I do figure out the plus size clothing, the main concern for me was finding the right hanger because
Mm-hmm.
I need a 22 to 23-inch long hanger. That's not actually that easy to find, and they're not. It's just a bit complicated. You have to have the right setup. That's why I was talking about getting a slightly wider photo backdrop because
Right.
there's more fabric, and then this is all important. So when you start niching down, you can figure out what your photo setup is. I was thinking about today. If I wanted to list something that was sitting on a flat surface, I don't have a proper. My photo setup is outside for
Yeah.
objects,
Right.
so it's okay. I did pick up a folding table today because I think that's if I'm gonna take pictures of something outside, the folding table on a piece of carpet is good. But
But
when
you nailed it though, because when you niche down, you know what to build.
you know what to
So
build, yeah.
yeah, so you text me today about a 6x6 background
Mm-hmm.
because you know what you want to photograph.
Right,
But if you're photographing teapots, don't text me about a 6x6 background.
right,
So once you know and niche down and figure out what you want to sell, then you can niche down your photo process. Then you can niche down your storage process. Then you can niche down on your listing process because you actually have something to build. So, so about coupons. So maybe a lot of people don't know all the coupons they have. They have the coupon that you can have as a banner on your listing or a banner in search. They have coupons that you can send out to previous customers.
mm-hmm.
They have coupons that you have the opportunity to send out when you do offers to watchers. And soon they'll have coupons where you can send them in bulk to previous buyers. So, on top of all that, I send a little card thanking the buyer, and it also has a coupon code to come back to the store. And when people message me, you know, thank you for the item, got the item, happy with the item, appreciate you, whatever they say, I always tell them, hey, follow my store. Here's a coupon for the next purchase. So, like you, I'm very, very much focused on getting this coupon out to the buyer because I want the buyers to come back. I think right now, currently, I'm sitting at just under 15% repeat buyers. And I think that's pretty solid. And the more your store grows with followers, if you hover over your store's follow button, it says by clicking this button, we will show you this seller's items in your feed. They're going to start developing feeds for buyers where they don't even have to go to the eBay search. They're going to be presented with our items because they follow our stores. So the more followers you can get, the more quality experience you can deliver, the more opportunity you have to send out the coupon as well. They just started the newsletter, which you can send out a newsletter every week to all of your followers that also has a coupon enclosed. So there's 5 or 6 or 7 different ways to extend this coupon to the buyers. And if we're using all of that, delivering a quality product and a quality experience, those customers will come back to you if you have more of the same type of items.
What did you say your repeat customer was again?
Just a little bit under 15%. So they count repeat customers as repeat customers and as customers that buy more than one item. So if someone comes in today and buys two,
Yep.
eBay definition is a repeat customer.
Gotcha.
So we all get some of those, but those technically may not be repeat customers that come back tomorrow or next week. But overall, 15% of people buy more than one item. And what if I can move that to 20 to 25?
Mm-hmm.
Those any increase I could do, 20%, 25%, that 10% of sales is going to be extra, additional, because I'm already going to get my one-off buyers.
Yep.
So if we can grow that repeat business, those are free sales that came back to us because eBay is already going to give us our one-off buyers, as far as I'm concerned, and that's my thinking.
Okay, so you and I both have this cheat code. So when I started from the beginning of the year till now, so in 2021 so far, I only have 5% repeat buyers.
Mm-hmm.
But this month, or I'm not this month, but since I did the reboot 2 months ago, I have 22% repeat buyers.
That's great.
So really it quadrupled because of that difference. But also one thing that you and I both do is we have the full range of items, including the low range.
Right.
The low range might not sell alone, but it could be an add-on.
Sure.
And because if, earlier this morning, Isaiah was talking about adding shoelaces or adding shoe cleaner to the purchase of a shoe. If
Mm-hmm.
your store is big enough where they buy 2 pairs,
Yeah,
you're going to come out way further ahead than shoelaces.
totally. And if you could sell 2 pairs, make money on the pairs, and also make $1 or $2, a couple dollars, $5 on shipping.
Mhm.
If you could double dip into the profit of that item, and if you could do that at scale over and over again, that's
Yep.
all free money, found money. So 22%, that's a beautiful place to be. And you only can do that because you sell a select, dialed in amount of brands and amount of styles and items. So not only do we have the brands, and then there's different levels of brands, low end, mid end, high end. But sometimes even within the brand, there's low end products, mid end, and then high end, even within all the same brand. So I was doing the sorting call this weekend when I was sorting some vintage stuff, talking about vintage stuff for the group. And someone sent an offer for $12 on a Tommy Bahama shirt. I accepted the offer. Within 10 minutes, they sent me 5 or 6 more offers on Tommy Bahama shirts. So they bought one, said, hey, this guy replied quickly and accepted my $12 offer. I'm in the market for Tommy Bahama shirts. Let me see what else this guy has. Checks out my store, and I sold 5 or 6 items to this guy, $12 each, all in the span of 10 minutes. And that's the customer that I want, because he's a Tommy Bahama buyer forever. It's not one time this guy's looking for Tommy Bahama. And I think something else that's going to help is increasing your feedback. I think tells the buyer, check out what else this guy has.
I think
If
so.
you have
Yeah.
100 feedback, maybe they don't bother look at your store. I have 65,000 feedback. Every buyer is going to go, what else does this guy sell?
Mm-hmm.
Click on see other items, search my store from there, and now you're shopping within my store. So, it's hard to get feedback, and I don't advise begging for feedback or messaging previous buyers for feedback. Do not advise that, because some buyers don't leave feedback for a reason.
Yep.
And if they didn't leave you feedback, it's all good. So roughly, I've sold 260,000 unique items. I have 65,000 feedback. You're the math guy. Was that 30%, 25%?
Mm-hmm.
So 25% of the people leave feedback. That's part of the game. It's going to be for everybody. But over time, if you could grow that feedback number, I think you get more curious shoppers because they know you have a lot more stuff.
100%. So not to change gears too much, but we're talking about on both of us preach just sell on one platform.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're Alfredo in the group and you just do Poshmark or we just do eBay. I think this is important because I messaged you a couple of days ago saying that somebody essentially cloned my store on the Depop.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have the 4,000 items that I have on eBay, they put on a Depop, and they were getting 4 or 5 sales a day. Think about the work required to cross list 4,000 items for 4 or 5 extra sales. A lot of people are doubling, tripling, quadrupling the work that they do to make only a little bit more instead of using that same work to make your store bigger.
Yep. And, when that first happened to me, I was doing the same thing, getting 5 sales, 8 sales, 10 sales a day.
Yep.
on a 35,000 item store.
Yeah.
So the same username that was popping up for you,
Yep.
that person has purchased 97 items for me this year.
Yep.
So imagine cross listing 91,000 items a year, and Depop's going to give me 97 sales.
Yeah.
Just list more items on. I could list 180,000 items a year on eBay.
Yeah.
Because it's going to
That's right.
take double the time.
Yep.
And if I list 180,000, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to result in more than 97 sales.
Yeah.
So they have some, very smart individuals that are cloning stores, putting them on Depop, charging $5 more, drop shipping to customers. Hats off. If that's what you want to do for me,
Yeah.
I got no problem. I wish I had 100 people cloning my store on Depop. But for me to sit there and cross post, and that's half the work.
Yeah.
You have to delist.
Yeah.
You have customer service.
Yeah.
You have to go to another platform and ship. So like, I don't even know if there's a situation or a scenario where I would recommend cross posting. I don't care, even if you're brand new. I would suggest learn the eBay platform.
Yep.
And list another quality item on eBay instead of going all around town listing items everywhere and then cleaning up your mess everywhere every time one sells. Not only is it a lot of time,
Mm-hmm.
but every single time someone falls into case is closed without seller resolution and their store becomes below standard, it's only because they cross post.
That's really the main reason. And the 97 sales that you fulfilled for this seller, how many did they go to your store and you had already sold it?
We don't know that part either.
We don't know.
Right. We don't know how good his software is where it automatically takes it down. We're not sure. But those drop shippers, they have several different accounts because they get jammed up on eBay because you're not supposed to drop ship. Yep. So they hop around between accounts. But I've sold a couple thousand items through those guys. And if that's what they want to do, they can do it. Hats off to them. If you want to make $5 a pop, no problem. But, it's a lot of effort to cross post. eBay has all the traffic. Yep. So this guy has cloned my entire store, 40,000 items.
Yep.
He's getting a handful of items per day, a handful of sales per day. And I'm selling hundreds of items on eBay. eBay has all the traffic. I remember a stat a couple years ago that eBay was not even concerned with Poshmark because Poshmark's entire year is not even one day of eBay. Like that really puts it into perspective, like what kind of giant eBay really is.
There are 10 individual sellers on Amazon that outsell Poshmark the platform. That's how crazy it is. If you look at Amazon has a lot of the traffic, but they also have their retail. They have all the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you compare that to eBay. It's so crazy. And actually third place is Mercari, but Mercari is difficult because they're in everything platform, but they don't have enough traffic to sustain everything platform.
And Mercari, the feed is different because it gives preference to newly listed. Yep. So if your item doesn't sell immediately, it may never sell over there. So how much time do we spend in that? How much time do we spend on cross post? How much time do we spend on all these other websites that don't give you the traffic that eBay gives? I mean, I'm all for healthy competition. And if someone comes out of the woodwork and can be a competitor to the traffic that eBay gives, no problem, reconsider. But when it comes to Mercari, Depop, Grailed, all of these other websites combined is not even close to the traffic that eBay is getting right now. So, this goes to the conversation that we're talking about is that if you spend time and double your store, work on doubling your sales while keeping your defects in check, you will make more money just by doubling your eBay store and not worrying about, 5 different pots that you have a couple of items in or the same items in.
The part that gets people allured is you will get more sales if you add another platform. It just will never justify how much work it is. And then you don't see the defects happen until later. When you have hundreds of items on 2 different platforms, you will have cancellations. It's impossible to avoid that.
I don't know if I agree with that because when we first got together a year and a half ago, you bought into the allure of cross posting. And I said, dude, trust me, build your eBay store.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you could say you would have had more sales if
No,
you
no,
would have
I
cross
mean,
posted.
I mean like one or two more sales. That's why
Doesn't,
people that,
yeah,
that doesn't matter, but that's why
nope,
that's what people think. I'll get a
right.
couple more sales if I add another platform, but you don't realize it takes up way more time.
Totally. A couple of more sales doesn't move the needle, but
Yeah,
a
it doesn't
couple
move
of
the
extra
needle.
hundreds of thousands of dollars that you've got in increased sales this year alone
Yeah,
by building your eBay store, that moves the needle.
absolutely. And then when you do sell one category, so someone that's selling just shoes, if you decide okay, this is what happens. You go to the thrift store, you see a nativity set that's for $40 and it sells for $750 during Christmas. So you get it, but you're a shoe seller. You go home, you spend the whole day selling that one nativity set. If you had just continued your route looking for shoes, you would have made more money always. You always make more money.
It's 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 frustrating though because I don't even go on Instagram often,
Yeah.
but whenever I go to my explore page, I swear to you, I've seen 5 different people do a huge flip on a nativity set just on my explore page. And I don't know who they are. I'm not calling them out. It doesn't matter. It's just that's the allure. That's the post.
Yep.
But that's why I can't post anything because I have no allure. There
Yeah.
is no allure to doing the same thing every single day
Yeah.
and building an eBay business.
Mm-hmm.
But there's allure to finding that nativity set for 40 and selling it for 400.
Yep.
It's great. It's great. Hats off to whoever did it. No shade.
Yep.
But that's what we see every day on Instagram. So we tend to go to it, whether it's a bicycle, a nativity set, whatever. But the nativity set is not repeatable. You cannot double your store on nativity sets.
No. And you're
It's
gonna
one and done.
you're gonna find one, but you can't, you might not even be able to find one 2 days in a row. It's
Right.
impossible. Not even,
Right.
and that's just one.
Yeah, it's one and done. It's not repeatable. Whether it's a bicycle you find that you can make $800 on,
Yep.
whether it's something, you know, a rare pair of scissors, whatever it may be, it's not repeatable.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not repeatable, you can't scale it. No one can scale not repeatable, but
Yep.
everybody can scale. I'm a clothing seller. I'm going to go from 20 to 40. Everybody can do that. Everyone can scale a clothing. Everyone can scale sports cards. Everyone can scale shoes, whatever your niche is. But like nativity seller niche, I've never met that person. But you could do it once.
You could do it once, and if you can't flip it in the next week, now you
Good
have
luck.
to carry it. Now you're donating it.
Right. Or we'll see you again next year. So, you know, but you know, some clothes are like that as well. But you know,
Yep.
clothes will sell. I sell sweaters 365 days a year. I sell swim trunks 365 days a year.
Yep.
They have the peaks, they have the valleys, but it's you can see the trends. You can forecast your business. You can scale it, you can grow it. But the one-off, the bolo, the Instagram hype buys, it's not scalable, it's not repeatable. It's just one and done, go find the next one. One and done, go find the next one. One and done, go find the next one. And if you're really trying to build a business that's going to make more money, you know, year over year, there has to be a cap somewhere to run around looking for the next one.
This month so far, it's been 15 days. I've sold 193 J. Crew sweaters, but a lot of them sold right now. I've been getting them all. It's not like they don't sell. They sell every month of the year, maybe a little bit heavier in the winter. But if you said, how can I get more J. Crew sweaters? You could just thrift more. They're at every single thrift store. I don't think I think you would not blink if you went thrifting. I don't know if you could go a day without finding one. There's so many of them. Might be millions of them.
Right. And even if you wanted to find more, you say, hey, my friends or my fellow thrifters,
Yeah.
sell me all your J. Crew. I'll pay you $3 on top of every J. Crew you find. If you want to find more, you set up connections at rag houses or wholesalers. Like you can scale J. Crew sweaters and be the biggest J. Crew sweater seller on eBay in the entire world. that's a business that you can scale because you know how to find the items, the verticals of where the items go, where they begin, where they end,
Hmm.
and you actually can find it and build a business around doing that. And if you doubled your J. Crew, maybe you would have sold 300 J. Crew sweaters already this month. So doubling your store a lot of times is probably very close to doubling your income.
But I would get like 4 likes on Instagram if I posted I sold a J. Crew sweater for 20 bucks. It's not very sexy.
That'll be a tough post to make right there. I think you should do it and see the traction.
In our group, there's at least 30 people who only sell Levi's.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were and Jeff has the plug, or not the plug, but he has the filter on his pallets. So anytime a pallet
Yep.
comes up, Target or what, I mean, because every company sells Levi's.
Mm-hmm.
Once they pop up, he gets the alert and he buys it because that's the top. I think it's the top clothing brand.
It's a very good one, that's for sure. And if there's, a lot of the top jean sellers, Levi sellers are in the group, they're all in the group and they're all doing well. So like there is a huge market for Levi's. So like you said, you could either go liquidation, you could go thrift, you could go flea market, you could go rag house, whatever you want to do. You can acquire Levi's if you were a bona fide dedicated Levi's seller, and that was a big part of your business.
Yeah, that's if you sell one particular brand, you can always add another brand. There's plenty of people who only sell Ralph Lauren too, actually.
Totally. If you know your stuff about Ralph Lauren, you can make a full-time income only selling Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, and Nike. Nike shoes.
Absolutely.
Actually, I would say more than half of shoe sellers only sell Nike.
Only sell Nike.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about, the market size for a lot of these brands that, we have the luxury of selling. And this market size is only going to get larger. So, the secondhand clothing market, the vintage clothing market is going to quadruple over the next couple of years. I've read up to, over $70 billion a year. And they're going to need people like us to fulfill the need of the market. And, there's always going to be new shoppers. There's going to be more competition. There's going to be way more people doing this. But if the market quadruples to 70 billion, like they're expecting, I don't know if we'll be able to keep up with the market cap that is going to soon be here.
I agree with that. And also, we have to pay attention to all of the big brands buying their old stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you notice a resale program popping up, that's a good brand to buy. Pendleton going
Mm-hmm.
heavy on trying to buy stuff back.
Yep.
Depending on where you live regionally, like in the group, we talk about using a zip code to figure out what is around you.
Mm-hmm.
And in our, your tactics of potentially looking at the thrifters around you on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be paying attention to your competition. And if they're going to the same thrift stores as you can kind of get an idea of what sells in your area. It's different.
1000%, man. But some of the people that thrift around here, they pick up items that I wouldn't necessarily pick up, and they
Yep.
do great with those items. But
Yep.
for whatever reason, those particular items don't do well with me. They sit for a long time,
Yep.
and I don't do good with those brands. So if they could pick it up, they could sell it. All good. Everyone has to be able to find their piece of the pie and figure out where they fit into this whole thing. So, with the expectation of more money coming into this niche of clothing in particular, way more people doing this. We talk about it, we hammer it home, we beat the dead horse. All of our expenses are going up. There's going to be two ways to succeed. You either have to grow your store and have a larger store, sell more items, and more sales is going to cure you. Or you can be a small store,
Yep.
but you have to do it the same exact way that Chris is doing it. You have to focus on brands that are going to sell when you list them. If you're going to be a small store, you can't have the same game plan as me as dealing in highly saturated categories.
Yep. That's right.
You have to do the game plan that Chris did on the reseller Nirvana store, where he went from $0 to $1,000 a day in $1,000 a week profit in 73 days. He focused on items that had a fast sell through. If you are going to be a small store, and there's nothing wrong with that, your number one focus needs to be fast sell through.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. The full version is on our Patreon, patreon.com/the Please join and also get in on the mentorship group, which is $35 a month, just about $1 a day. We either make more money and save more time, or it's free. We have almost 2,000 people in the group and appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week.